You can go ahead and share where you are from in our chat today if you would like. I'll make sure that is turned on for everybody.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is John Newsom from Contractor Business Solutions. I think I know just about everybody who's signed into the call today. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to attend. CRM is probably the first or second most commonly requested thing I get for people looking for a product that integrates with their Sage ERP platform. Uh, for quite a while there, we didn't really have a good option. And the folks at Followup CRM joined the development partner program, I don't know, like a year or two ago. And I've worked with them with a couple of clients and really like what I see. So I asked them if they would do a webinar for our customers, and here we are. So go ahead and take it away, you guys, and I'll mute myself.
Absolutely. Yes. I'll intro and tell you guys a little bit more about our team. So, here at Follow Up CRM, we've been doing this for over a decade. Our company is headquartered out of South Florida, the Fort Lauderdale area, but we have a team that's dispersed, which is great because that's how our client base is as well. So, my name is Sarah, and I'm calling in today from Nashville, Tennessee. I lead up our marketing efforts. And then you all are very fortunate to have Rachel calling in from the Dallas, Texas area. She is our product specialist. So she's going to do the majority of the presentation today. And she is going to talk through the integration capabilities that we have and really the benefits of streamlining your sales and bidding. We, like I said, have a large customer base. So we start to hear the same things over and over again and know the pain points that we can immediately address. I'll go ahead and throw out there again, the chat is open today. Put your questions in there. I know that Rachel won't be mad if I stop her and
Not at
interject with
all.
those. We love the feedback. It makes it more fun, more interactive. And if there are things that are like really specific and you want to have further conversation about, we would love to set up a follow-up demo call with you. True to our name, we're always the ones following up, making sure that we are answering all of your questions that are more specific, again, more detailed with how your company works. So without any further ado, Rachel, please take it away. Show us the system.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Good to be with everybody today. And I did see in the chat, William, you're here in Frisco area. So I'm in Keller, Fort Worth, so a little bit west of you, but good to find a fellow Texan on here. But I'm going to go ahead and yes, like Sarah said, feel free to put your questions live in the chat. If I don't see it, she'll interrupt me. And I'm always happy to make this more of a collaborative discussion rather than just a monologue here. So Sarah, is my screen coming through okay? You can just give me a thumbs up. We're good to go. Perfect. Awesome. So we are Followup CRM. So we have a great relationship with John and CVSL and Sage because we handle the CRM portion of things. So what that means is workflow wise, just from a big picture perspective, anything that's a brand new lead, whether that be a relationship lead or an opportunity lead, goes into Followup first. So Followup's your first stop. And then we track the bid all the way through basically your sales process. So we have a proposal tool. We'll talk about your follow-ups, true to the name, your email tracking, your notes, your internal kind of pass-off collaboration. If you go from, BD to sales or estimating or whatever, all the way through essentially until a contract is won. When the contract is won, then we have an awarded, button in our statuses, and then we can basically click a button and push to, I think John mentioned we mostly are Sage 100 contractor on here. We do have 300 and intact, and all of those work the same. So I'm just going to speak Sage 100 contractor, but if you're an exception to that, it works the exact same way. So we essentially will just have a button that says create or connect and push. And that will then create the job in Sage 100 Contractor with any of the fields you've decided to send from Followup. So it is quite agile and customizable, and that is a two-way sync, so we can pull insights in backwards as well. So I'll make sure to give you visuals on all that, but I always like to kind of package the conversation in the overall workflow. So diving into the system and what you're looking at here, this dashboard is basically just your 10,000 foot view. So this is your pipeline. So you're looking at the dollars you have out in the marketplace, the number of bids, and then the stages that they're in. And then over here, we have your win rate and win loss percentage. Now I have this set for the company overall. this can be broken down in a ton of different ways. So if I just want to log in and be able to see myself as a salesperson and have that defaulted to me or be able to sort by that, I can really quickly kind of plug and play. Same thing by office or location or team, business unit, division, or entity, however we want to break this up with you in implementation. But ultimately, it's giving you your pipeline view and your win rate. These statuses right here are customizable. Quick asterisk, whenever I say customizable, our system is very out of the box, so that this doesn't require like coding or development in order to customize the fields that I'm mentioning. It's an implementation. We go on the back end and teach you how to like click a little trash can and delete a field, or click a pencil and update the verbiage. And so really out of the box, easy functionality to be able to kind of tweak and customize and configure for your own business. So from there, this is just an auto-generated dashboard that is pulling information from the projects, companies, and contacts area. So those are our main entry objects. Your companies and contacts is exactly what sounds like your internal Rolodex or your address book, essentially. We do an import process with you at the beginning of your implementation. And so everything from Sage 100 as far as your customers can get into here. So you're not manually entering everything from the ground up. So that's super simple. And then over here, I'm going to start on projects. And in Followup terminology, project is just a lead or an opportunity. Many of you may be on spreadsheets or some other similar form, smart sheets or something to be tracking your bids right now. This is kind of our version of that. So this is your bid board, essentially showing me a list of all of the opportunities. Now I have this sorted by my jobs that automatically shows, what I'm on, but there's a ton of different ways to sort this by, type of work or priority level or leads or whatever, and really configurable per user. But essentially, this is just the view that is being sourced from, if I click into one of these items, and obviously this is a big difference between an Excel spreadsheet, is we get a whole page for an opportunity. So that line item is sourced by this information here. And this is basically the one-stop shop for everything related to this opportunity from lead to sale. So this will house all of your data about it, your dates, your emails and notes, your customers that are involved, your documents, your proposals, and then this ultimately will talk to Sage 100 contractor back and forth. So everything is really centralized right here. So we have your basic project information. This project data area, I'm not going to go into super deeply because it's fully customizable per entity, per team. So you see we have things like location and market sector and services and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, we're tracking your bid dates, and then these are the stages that you saw on the front dashboard. This is where that's sourced from. Over in the record details, we also are tracking your financials. Now, this isn't your full broken out budget that's going to be in Sage 100 Contractor, but your lump sum financials that are going to go into your reports and to your proposal. Over here, your sales activities is basically your sales process. So it's a customizable list of whatever tasks need to be accomplished for your team from, again, lead to sale. That can be, some of my teams have 3 activities there. Some of them have 23 activities. It really just depends on what you want to be able to set a date on. And then that I will circle back to, because this is where a lot of our reminder functions come in: dates, calendars, automated follow-ups, all that kind of stuff that is really a big draw for, a CRM and the functions that you need. If I scroll to the middle of the page here, this is the company information section. Now, if you're a subcontractor, you may bid to multiple GCs. This is a big kind of problem that we solve in the marketplace is, being able to have one project and one opportunity, but track that you're sending it to multiple general contractors. So you can see I have multiple GCs here. These get here by me just typing and searching in my address book for the customer that you typically bid to. It'll pull up the contacts that are related, and then I can just add them here. So for each GC that I'm bidding to. Now, if you are a GC, this can always end up being just, the developer, the owner, or the end customer. And you could just have one here, or maybe you want to track architects, engineers involved. Some of my teams like to track competitors, subcontractors, right? So this just allows you to track any constituent related to this opportunity, so that on the flip side, you're getting really good insights of your relationships with these customers or vendors or subs or partners, essentially. So I'll show you that on the flip side as far as the companies and contacts area, and we'll get to that in a second. Down here, you've got your notes and emails. So this is basically like the date and time stamped kind of log of the opportunity, everything that's changed, updated, who changed it, when it happened, and then any emails that are sent will be linked into here, and then notes. So I can leave notes here. I can mention a team member. so that that will ping them and say, hey, pay attention to this particular note, and give a link to the opportunity. So lots of ways to kind of chatter and collaborate there within the opportunity. So that's what we house on this page. We do have a documents area here, and that kind of relates to the proposal. So I'll kind of walk through the workflow here. A new lead gets into the system, and we track it all the way through. Maybe we do a site visit. Any of these items that are scheduled here, these can actually sync to either an Outlook or a Gmail calendar, depending on what your teams use. They can also go onto a task list if we don't want to use an external calendar. We also have an internal bid calendar, and then these can also trigger workflow automations. I'll just name a couple of examples, but that can be a really customized conversation if we need to dig deeper. A lot of our teams will say, hey, for my team, anytime I have somebody deliver a proposal, I want them to check off this box, and then I want that to automatically trigger a follow-up date to be scheduled in this field here, so that nothing ever falls through the cracks. Now we can get super automated where it's like, hey, when that follow-up date comes due, automatically send this email or this sequence of emails to the customer. A lot of our teams end up landing somewhere in between, but we do have the functionality to be super manual or, super automated. From there, let's go ahead and talk through the proposal tool. So I do have a proposal tool. I'll pause for a second. Sarah, have any questions come in? Is there anything I missed yet?
No, nothing yet. I know that we're going pretty fast because everybody kind of has different interest areas. So if there's anything we touch on and you want us to go deeper, please put that in the chat and I'll be sure to flag it.
Perfect. Awesome. So yes, this proposal tool. And again, if you have a proposal system that works, what do they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But this does help streamline your proposal process a bit, especially if you're either using a Word doc or some kind of a, Panda doc or something like that. So what we do is we come off the project and then we just select who we're going to send it to. Now, this is helpful for my teams that do bid to multiple GCs because I can just copy paste or copy duplicate each proposal and insert each GC's information automatically to be sending this out multiple times. So that is helpful. But if I come here, you can see I have multiple proposal templates. This can be for different divisions of your business, types of work, if different salespeople have their own templates. The goal is that we can just house any version of template that you're going to need to be using in here. And then when I select the template, you can see I've got fancy options like a cover page, and the photos that are stored and the project page will actually show here so I can put them into the proposal. Can make it look super flashy and nice, but ultimately it's just based on a Word document system. So you can see most times we have teams that are on Word that turn it into a PDF and get it to the client. So we can upload a Word doc and just basically duplicate your template. The advantage is you can see here, I've got a bunch of mapped fields. So all of these fields will auto-populate from the system without you having to retype everything from the ground up, like the project address and the base bid will go into here. And we can actually store scopes and snippets in the system. So the goal is that we have 95% of the bones of the proposal in here so that your users just coming in, plug and play a little bit, and then they can get this generated as a PDF doc and send it directly to the client. Now, we do have some other formatting options like an Excel estimating tool, or not estimating, but an Excel format for the proposal. We also have a line item quote builder as well. That's super helpful if you do service work, like a light service quote or something like that. You can actually store products and services on the back end, and we can build a light quote here too. So multiple formatting options, just depending on, your business, but then ultimately we can get it sent to the client from the system. I always mention this because this is a big thing with proposals going from systems, because your email is integrated with the system, whether that be Gmail or Outlook. It does go from you. So they're not going to get, your client isn't going to get some kind of like an app proposals follow-up email to get the proposal that's going to go into spam and they miss it or block it or something. So it's going to come from your email address with your name on it, with your logo on it. And then they can either sign it, so you can send for signing, or just send for view only as well. You do get a couple of analytics in there too. So if they open the proposal, you'll get notified as a user. And then the final signed copy or the final copy will just be stored automatically in the documents area for you.
Rachel, this is a good place for me to point out one thing that we've heard clients say in the past is how many other tools they're able to stop paying for on a monthly basis. This is one example, right? So instead of having a DocuSign, that is something that's built within the Followup system. I know a couple other things that you're still going to get into, but we have like the business card scanner, which is helpful for when you're out in the field. And then we have you said already, our open API connection, but that means you can integrate with things like company cam. So when you have your team out there taking photos, you can put those photos in the proposal. Just a lot of different use cases here.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Sarah, for sure. So, yeah, so we can handle all that proposal process in here. And then obviously we're following up, whether that's automated or manual. I'll show you kind of how a lot of our teams like to be reminded or have those kinds of functions. So like I said, it can be super automated, like all the dates kind of cascade and we automate them. I'll let, does this allow payments, deposits? No, we do not do that. So it would just be the sales process, the proposal, delivery, and signature, and then you would do payments and processing in other systems. But great question. Thank you. I'll show you here the activities tab in the calendar. All of these dates that are assigned to me would go onto my activities page. So if you're somebody or your users don't necessarily want ping reminders or emails or anything like that, they can log in and every user just has this activity dashboard where they can see everything that they have to do today. So they've got a list, everything that's red is due or overdue. You can see the age. I'm a little behind. It's a demo system, but still. And then down here, you can see anything green is scheduled in the future. So you can have this scheduled weeks, days, months, years out, and everything comes due when it's due and stays there.
We've got another question.
Yeah.
So let's say one of the things that you need to do on this task list today is send out a quote. Can you send that quote out to multiple customers at the same time?
As well as multiple general contractors? Or would it be like, it would be multiple general contractors?
The question reads, can one quote be sent to multiple customers? So I'm not sure if that's multiple people at one organization or different organizations.
Yeah, good question. So we do have like a CC line, BCC line, attaches view only line when we send that actual proposal. But then if it is a scenario where the same proposal is going to multiple customers, like general contractors, you can then copy and duplicate proposals and then send them individually to each one. So yes, you can use the same template that you've created as part of that same proposal and then have it sent to each individual customer.
Awesome.
Great. Yes. So I'll give you a view. So I showed you the activities tab. I'll show you the calendar. If you and your team live by a bid calendar, this is a great view. You're able to just see all the activities, whether it be bids, follow-ups, a master calendar. Every user is organized by their own color. So you can really get a master view here. If you live and die by your like Outlook shared calendar or whatever, any of these dates can push and sync. But some of our teams that like to just keep follow-up activities internal, everything's going to be able to show on here as well. So, is there anything?
Well, I was just thinking maybe you were already planning on doing this later, but would you mind showing the Kanban view? That was something we rolled out last year that a lot of people were super excited about.
Yeah. So this would be on the projects tab. So we see this and a lot of our teams that come from like Excel spreadsheets and things like that prefer this because it looks the same. But some teams that have used other CRMs or want to kind of enhance that a little bit. This is kind of and I don't know if it's Kanban or Kanban. It could be because I'm in Texas, like, whatever.
Great debate.
This would be, nobody's ever answered that for me, but this would be what that is. And so you can create multiple different Kanban boards. And so this allows you to kind of drag and drop the tiles, inline update. You can customize what each tile shows. And so just kind of a different board view where you can actually see things moving along through the pipeline. For sure. Thank you, Sarah. That's a good one to cover. So I do want to get to the Sage integration here quickly. So we've gone through, getting a lead into the system, sending our proposal, tracking our activities, and then we win an opportunity. And then we're going to get to the Sage 100 piece. So I'm actually going to open up a demo environment here that's connected to Sage. But essentially our team, and this is all out of the box. So we have many customers already on the Sage 100 contractor integration. And our team has implemented it many, many times. And so they basically just connect the systems together on the back end and then do a mapping call with you. So on the actual project page, you will have a box once your systems are connected. This is Sage 100 options, and you are able, all of my controllers or CFOs are all uptight about this sometimes, you are able to control who is able to use this button. So you can control maybe 2 or 3 users or everybody if you trust everybody, but you're able to really be in control of who's able to send things over to Sage.
Yes,
But
we've done a lot of work on different permissions, right? And
yes.
different access levels.
Exactly, exactly. So you can connect and push to Sage. That will then actually create the job. It'll open up the job and send over any of the details that you have collected throughout the sales process on this side. We do have all of the follow-up fields available, which is super great. And I'll show you kind of where we map them on the back end if you're a little more on the technical side and want to get visuals on that. But then we do have the ability to sync in from Sage 100. So if I want to take in change order updates, or profitability is probably our most common use case, where we have this income cost summary. And once the job is linked, this will live update every time I open up the job. So we can actually see on the sales side if we're making money on the job. That's also really helpful for a lot of your BD or sales team that may not be in Sage 100 Contractor and don't have insights to those kinds of things. So we do have the two-way sync capability. I'll give you a sneak peek here on the back end as well, just to show you what modules we integrate with, and then how we map the field. So you can see we've got the projects to the jobs module, receivable clients. We do have work orders and service sites. This is a newer addition that they've done, and then change orders as well. So if I go to the mapped fields here, this is where we would actually like sit down on a mapping call with you in your implementation process and say, okay, what follow-up fields do you want to push over to Sage 100 Contractor, and vice versa. And so we can do as many or as few fields as we want. So if I have this batch and it's just kind of the structure of the job and sets up the shell of it, if I want to get crazy and, put, type of work or assigned project manager or any of these fields, including custom fields. So if there's something you want to capture during the follow-up process and push over to Sage, because you have a field for it, you're able to do that. And then you can see we have a large batch of Sage fields on the job as well. So it is quite agile as far as what options we have to send what data back and forth. We're proud of this one. So best integration I've seen. So I'm biased, but it's true. So so that is the Sage 100 integration. Again, like I said, it works the same for 300 and Intact if you're on either of those. So that is the project lifecycle. So lead all the way through until we win it, sending it back and forth. Now I want to touch on the companies and contacts, and then I'll wrap up with some reporting, and I'll make sure to sneak the integration, the email integration in there for a quick second. So if I come down here and I go to one of my customers, so this is going to take me into the company and contacts area. But say I want to click on one of these general contractors, I bid to them a lot, or maybe it's like a developer that I send a lot of bids to. This gives me the customer account. And this is really going to give me a solid 10,000 foot view of our relationship with them, because if I click on projects, because they're linked back and forth, this is kind of closing the loop. So you can see all of the jobs that we've ever done with these guys, whether we won them, they were leads, they went cold, they were on hold, we lost them, whatever. You're going to see the full history. And then down here, you're actually going to get a win rate per customer. So a lot of our teams really use this to be more efficient with their bidding. This is how we get our average was, I believe it was, Sarah, you can correct me, it was like 18% increase in our closing ratios for our customers.
Yes. And that's why our tagline is bid less, win more, because you know
Exactly.
where to bid that's going to be most profitable.
Exactly. It just gives you more insights. And then some of our teams will literally like pull this up on the mobile app and go and have a conversation with the customer and say, hey, you keep inviting us to bid, but our win rate is not looking great. Like, what are we missing here? How can we improve on this? And so it just gives you some more strategic ammunition to be able to be more efficient with that. So same thing with our customer or our contact level. So I've got this account. This is the account company level. And then I have the customer or the contacts nested within. So if I go into Chad, who works at ASW, I can track his title, role, decision maker, who's the influencers, all that kind of stuff. And then I can really track my relationship with Chad. So I still can see the projects that I'm doing through Chad specifically at ASW. I can track my email correspondence that is related to maybe more of the relationship nurturing side of things rather than an actual project opportunity. Then I've got activities. And these, again, would be more of the business development side, relationship nurture, calling them, lunch meeting, breakfast meeting. Chad told me to call him in 2 months. He doesn't have anything right now, but he might have a lead down the road. Being able to kind of set it and forget it the way you are able to on a project. But this is, again, more of the BD relationship side of things. And like Sarah alluded to before, all of these pieces, as far as the contacts, the project, they're all available on the mobile app. We have iPhone or Android. So you really can, like out at a networking event, or she referenced the business card scanner. You meet somebody, you can just scan it right in, puts a contact in, you can schedule a quick follow-up. It'll put it on your calendar or put it right on your task list. So all of that can happen really quickly and easily.
Hey, Rachel, something
Yeah.
that people might have seen, but I would love for you to tell them more about. What is
Yeah.
up with the little cartoon of the redheaded man in here?
Oh yeah, our AI tool. This is AI, which is super cool. This is a newer released tool, and this gives you the ability to smart write, whether that's emails, notes, project summaries. It's basically our GPT AI tool within here that is super helpful. So I think the most common use case a lot of our teams are using for template writing, like quick email writing. You can set the tone, things like that. I'm on the notes area, but if I was on the email area, it would be the same. So it's just a really cool AI assist tool where I can say, oh, I want a follow up and I want it to be direct, and then generate that and work off of that content. So just a cool tip. We also have some AI in some of our reporting, smart analyzers, and then on the project as far as like AI summaries and things like that for pass offs to production, and just to streamline a lot of those things. So
Everybody loves AI right now. Everybody wants to talk about AI. This is a super practical way that we found that construction companies can actually use it. So, Greg is our founder, little background there. That is very similar to how he looks, okay? And Greg was a commercial roofer, award winning in South Florida for decades and decades. And Best Roofing, he created this product, some of the history of our company, Followup CRM, for his internal use. He had gone to like a Salesforce conference and been like, the big generic guys aren't going to work for our use case. What can we create? Obviously, he's well connected, and other people started asking him about it. It got white labeled. Now we're here. We work with all different specialties from electrical and masonry. I can't even name them all if we had another hour. But that's just kind of the history of Followup CRM. And we keep him involved through now Greg AI.
we love it. It's super fun tool. Yes, so that is the companies and contacts area. I'm going to wrap up here. I'm going to show you quick, because I should have covered this a little bit earlier. I just want to show you how the email integration works. It's real easy. If I have an email icon now, Gmail or Outlook, regardless, I can just click on this little icon. That's actually going to pull up a new email thread for me. I use Outlook, so it pulls up there. I can send this email out, and that's going to track the whole thread through the system. Now, if you are Microsoft users, there's a little bit of a leg up, because we do have a plugin here that lives right within your Microsoft suite. So adding, a lot of our teams will do this if they get a lot of invitations to bid from bidding platforms or via email. I can create projects and leads, contacts, all of that directly from here. Or if I have an email thread that didn't start in the system and I just want to get it into a project or a contact, I can just open up the opportunity it relates to and then sync it in, which is super easy. So if I sync a thread, puts the whole thing into the system. So it really helps you to easily track correspondence. Documents as well can go in there, which is nifty. So that's that. I'm going to wrap up here with some reporting. So essentially, I like to say anything that has a field in here, whether we've customized the field or it's already, kind of out of the box there, we can run some kind of report on. It is a data point that is available either in some of our standard reports or in our custom reporting tool, which is essentially a custom dashboard builder where we can build anything from the ground up. So this reports tab will just talk through some more common scenarios. So a lot of our teams will run bid lists, won contract reports, client sales history reports, forecasting, lead recap, right? A lot of these are best practice, just standard reports, because again, we only work within this industry. We have seen what contractors run on a regular basis, time and time again. So a lot of our teams, a really common use case is that they will schedule a bid list report to go to everybody involved in their weekly bid meeting, that's maybe on Tuesday mornings. They'll have everybody receive it on noon on Monday, the day before, or the night before, or the morning of. And so everybody gets that report, is able to log in. Actually, they don't even have to log in. It just comes to them as an Excel or a PDF, view that report, and then they can come to the meeting the next day and everything is, updated already. And they've, put in, oh, I actually did follow with that person, or, whatever, so that we get to the meeting and it's, productive moving forward. So those automated reports can go to users or non-users. So if you have any executives who don't necessarily need to be a user, but they want to get the weekly or biweekly or monthly reports or whatever, that can be triggered to them as well as Excels or PDF, which is really helpful. I mentioned our custom report builder. This is where we can really build anything and publish it to our dashboard. So this, you can see, just gives you some visuals on, I picked exactly what data points went in here and what kinds of reports, and that this one went up there instead of down here. And I mean, literally from the ground up. And our team is really hands-on in this particular process, just because A lot of our customers don't really want to take the time to learn the tool, but we build several of these with you during implementation. And then we have service options to be able to do those moving forward. And so the goal is, because you can filter these and ask these smart analysis questions here with AI. And so the goal is that your reports are structured during implementation, and then you have what you need and can just filter and use from there. So, and these can all be published to this main dashboard as report options here and all that good stuff. So that brings us full circle. Sarah, I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted me to cover. I know
that was so good.
Here, but
yes.
Yeah.
And I always like to tell people, like, don't be overwhelmed by the data or the numbers. We pull back. The purpose is visibility and accountability, right? Being able to see what's working, what's not working, accurately forecast, and then who is seeing the outcomes of their work and what areas do you need to tighten up a little bit. So the reporting really helps with that. We do have another question. What quoting functions work on mobile versus what is desktop only?
Good question. Yeah, the proposal tool is available on mobile completely. So all of your, regardless of the format of any of your proposals, those would be available on mobile. I think for like agility purposes, like iPad and tablet, I think our teams have more success with those, but doesn't mean it's not available on the phone. So all of your templates, if you have, the 98% of the bones of your proposal and you just select which customer it's going to, you can very easily create a proposal on mobile.
Yeah, we know we have a lot of teams on the go, so that is nice to be able to add in. Anybody have other questions? Would love to be able to answer them. I'll take a moment to brag on our customer success team. They are more than just support. They really help a smooth transition from whoever your sales manager is to the onboarding process, making sure that you're set up, you're comfortable. We really like to have that one champion within your company so that you can go and evangelize to the rest. And then a number that I always have top of mind is 99% adoption rate within the first year is what we see for our customers. So it's not like you're going to buy it and it's going to be this huge uphill battle. Like, is anyone going to use it? Like, we help get everyone on board. We make sure you have the training you need so that you can quickly implement and start seeing the results from the tool. So, John, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to your audience. We love connecting with Sage contractors and trying to help meet the need.
Yeah, thanks everybody for taking the time to attend today. We really appreciate it. And if you have any follow-up questions, no pun intended, you can reach out to me.
We get it all the time, John. We get it all the time.
Or Rachel. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Awesome. Thanks. Have a great day all. Bye-bye.
Bye.